How you doing? All right. So I went to the Amico event, as you know, yesterday, and kind of want to talk about my personal experience with the whole day. I'll let the bigger YouTubers, I'll let them fill you in a little more. I just want to personally just talk about how it was for me on the day. It's not really going to be a review on the Amico itself or anything like that. I will talk about my experience, and I had an awesome day. Met a lot of great people. Had a great time. But basically, I just want to just talk about, I planned to go a couple days before. Couldn't get anybody to really go with me. Everyone was busy. I asked my sister and her my two nephews. My wife had shopping to do, and my son was working. So I journeyed out on my own. I left early, way early. Because I was thinking about going to the first one in Waltham, Mass, which was like 2.5 hours from my house. The one in Uxbridge that I made it to was about an hour and 15 minutes drive. So basically, I took off early because, to make a long story short, in a nutshell, I got a 2004 Volvo. It's not the most dependable car. It's old. So just in case I had any road problems or anything, I just figured I'd leave early, get there early. I'm not usually like that, but just in case I thought about going to the other event first, I figured I'd have time. So I headed out, got my coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, and I took the back roads instead of the Mass Pike. I figured I'd take a nice little ride since I was going to be running early. Figured I'd go through through the back roads. So, to my surprise, I got there it was a quick hour and 15 minutes. A lot of back roads, but I saw a lot of cool stuff on the way. I took some pictures. So I got there, and I think I got there at about 12 o'clock. So with the other event starting at 12 o'clock, I went inside this place just to see where it was going to be. So I went inside the place, and it was like a card, magic, Pokemon type stuff, comic books. It wasn't a video game place. I guess the one in Waltham was, but this one was more like a where they hold tournaments for car. I don't know much about it, but I was talking to a few of the guys in there when they opened up, and they started showing up for some pre-release on Magic cards or something. So I guess at about 1 o'clock they were going to start a tournament. So using up almost half of my for the GPS on the ride, I used up half of my phone power. So they were kind enough to let me charge my phone and to hang around and conversate about what they do. And they weren't really too aware of what was going to happen at 5 o'clock, except because the owner wasn't there. But the guy that was working, he knew something about it, obviously. So he said, yeah, I heard it's like some video game system or something that's coming out. And I explained to him a little bit about it, and we conversated about the area and stuff. So after I got my phone charged back to 100%, I had my car parked in the street at this time. It was 2-hour parking in the street. They had public parking across the street that I wasn't aware of yet. So generally when I get to a place early like this and it's out of town and it's somewhere new, it was fair. Uxbridge, Mass is a small town. I'm not sure exactly how far more Boston would have been. Maybe another half hour. But where they had the other one in Walham, it was about an hour and 15 minutes from this place. So that's when I thought to myself, if I drive to the other one, it's going to be like halfway through that event. And then I got to drive back with everyone else here. So I might as well just stay here, get some lunch, and get familiar with the area and stuff. So I got back in my car and I took a ride around town. I ended up going to get another coffee and I ate, I got some pizza slices for lunch at Papa Gino's, which was next door to Dunkin' Donuts. It was all in the same plaza. Then I went to, drive around and sightseeing a little bit, took some pictures. And then after all that, I headed back. And by that time, it was about 3 o'clock. And that's when I decided to, park my car in the public parking. And I shot a couple small videos that some of you may have saw when I was waiting on them. Went back upstairs and Chris Atari Creep I had messaged him. I'm here waiting for you guys. I hope you guys are doing good there. I didn't know who was going to show up to this one, so I kind of wanted to know if Chris was going to be coming because I had something I wanted to give him. So he says, yeah, we're all coming over there. We're all heading over now. So I went back inside, and they were still playing that tournament with the magic cards. And while I was conversating with the next guy that wasn't there earlier, he was the guy that was going to take over for the other guy. He kind of ran the tournament. We had a conversation about the town and stuff and where I was from and what was going to happen. And then he got a phone call, and I guess it was the owner, and he was telling him about the amico crowd coming at, probably around 4:30, and to start getting, some things cleared up and some tables and get the tournament done and this and that. So when he got off the phone with him, there was 2 rooms to the place. We went into the other room and they started shifting some tables around and some chairs. I helped out a little bit, but not much. But anyway, since I was the first one there, I had my phone charging again. And I experienced something I'm not into that these people were playing. Then Tommy shows up around maybe 4:30, I want to say. He's the first one in. He had his bags with the systems, and as soon as I heard his voice, I'm like, Tommy! And he's like, called out my name, and he's like, get over here, and I don't know, and we shook hands, and we hugged each other, and, whatever. Finally, nice to meet you, he's from my hometown, So now he went to the back room, started setting up, trying to figure out, where the HDMI's on the TVs, starting to hook up the amicos. And I'm a smoker, so at this point, before it gets started, I want to go out and have a cigarette. So I was the only smoker there, by the way. Terrible. So anyway, I went out to have a cigarette, and he's like, oh yeah, they're all coming. They were behind me, and they should be getting here any minute. So when I got out to the front of the place, there's Atari Chris across the street with his family, waiting to cross the street. And I'm over on the other side having a cigarette. And then they finally crossed the street. And I'm like, Chris, man, what's up? And so cool to meet you. And I'm glad you came. And he's like, his family went in because it was a little chilly. So they headed in, and he, hung out with me out there. And we were talking. Next thing you know, I'm like, well, where's DJC and everyone else? And next thing you know, they're walking down the sidewalk. And he's like, well, there they are. And I'm like, shit, DJC's here. So I kind of went over to DJC, and I guess he was with Panda and Saggy. And same thing, greeted him, like, what's up, dude? I'm glad you made it, and this and that. So then they headed upstairs, and I finished off my cigarette, and right away, me and Chris hit it off. We went upstairs. Tommy had them all set up. The kids started playing first, and I started playing. The first game I played was Evil Knievel, and I struggled mightily with the Rocket game. Things like this. It's not the same as being home, having the system yourself, playing it. You're concentrating more, and you're so overwhelmed with everything going on and meeting the people. But as soon as Tommy handed me that controller, it felt good. It's light. It feels good. It's, you know what I mean? I can't say anything negative about it. But I'm a shooter guy, so now they were setting up another system in the other room on the other television, and they got Astro Smash going. But like I said, when I go to these events like this, you really get mum for words about what you want to ask. I mean, I asked quite a few questions, but you're in the moment, and you're just, you're trying to watch this, see this, meet this one, talk to this one, and it's just overwhelming. It's the experience of the conversations. Like some of the people I didn't even recognize at first, because right away, like maybe 15 minutes in, Rab showed up with his daughter. I don't know if he came from the other one or not. I'm not sure. Or he just came to this one. But I didn't even recognize him at first. He was wearing a Jets hat. And I didn't even recognize Panda at first. I knew he looked familiar, so I asked Chris. I said, he looks familiar. He said, oh, that's Panda. And I'm like, holy shit, Panda? So, and he's the one who got there with DJC. So yeah, when you meet these guys, it's for the first time, it's surreal. I mean, you see them on YouTube, and that's what you know them as. Like Atari Creep. When I see him on YouTube, he seems like this big, huge guy. I mean, he's a big guy, but I felt like I was bigger than he was. I mean, it's weird. DJC too. Tommy's tiny. I mean, everyone knows he's a small Italian. But, no, I mean, but anyway, so I left the house early, got there early, took pictures of the town sites, and now we're there. Things are hooked up. There's other people showing up that I don't know even from YouTube or anything. Everyone was there for the same thing. There was some kids there, Tari's girlfriend's daughters. A couple other kids showed up with their fathers. And yeah, I mean, so what I want to cover, the thing that I got out of it the most, I didn't realize this at the time, but when I thought it over today, was when I played Astro Smash, I had a great time on it. But I don't know if this can be changed, but the button configuration was the screen does the slide, and the top buttons do the firing, and it felt okay. It's fine, and the dial to move back and forth. But then later, I noticed when I played the Tiger game, the Flying Tigers. That one had a different configuration. That one was using the dial to move around, of course, but the fire button was the screen of the Amico controller. It was the actual screen, not the top buttons. And I felt a lot more comfortable playing that than Astro Smash. So in other words, here's the controller. In Astro Smash, the fire's up here, okay, and I got one of these. So you're moving around left and right, and the fire button's on top, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. I'm just saying that on Flying Tigers, it was the screen. It just felt a lot better. It just felt a lot better to hit the screen, which I would never thought of that. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that would be better. But I liked the screen. So I don't know if on Astro Smash, see what I'm saying? That's something I would have wanted to ask, but in the moment, I just thought about asking it, and then just maybe it passed by because Tommy was in the other room. But I just wasn't sure if you could change it to the same configuration. I'm not positive on that. But that's just one of the things that I noticed. I played some Finnegan Fox. That was okay. And what else did I play? I didn't play much because the kids were playing at first, and everybody wants a shot at it. So I played a little bit, handed it. I did have a pool game with Panda. He beat me. It was a good game. We were down to our last balls. He hit the eight. I think I hit my last ball in and I scratched, and then Panda hit the 8 ball in and he won. But I had a good time with that. I mean, the pool game, it was just it's a good pool game. It lines up your shots and stuff, and you gotta give it English and set up your next shot. I wouldn't say it was deep. The only pool game I ever liked was a mobile pool game. I think it was called 8 Ball. I got into that one for a while, but I don't really play mobile games. That was the only mobile game I actually ever got into. And then they had a Soccer Stars one with the pucks, but I haven't played those in a couple of years. So yeah, I mean the pool game is very playable and fun. It just maybe the final one will be more deeper as far as tables. I mean, I think there was different tables, but we just played on one. But anyway, I don't want to get too into that. But it was fine. And then we played cornhole. Cornhole, I had it pretty good. Some people, it was like the Wii. Remember in the bowling, where if you hold the button too long and then let go, the ball would drop and you'd have to reset. So some people were struggling at first with that, but once you get the hang of it, then then you get it. So as far as someone asked Atari Creep today how far back you can go with the controllers, and I think Tommy answered 20 feet. But I remember in Cornhole, we backed up quite a ways at one time, at least 10 or 12 feet away, and it was working fine. So yeah, I wanted to cover that. The kids, and their eyes were glued. They were playing Shark. I fooled around with that, how to move the fish around with the dial. Tommy was showing me that. I saw Tommy showed us a few things that were never seen before, so I won't talk about that. And then he also showed us a video on his cell phone of I think it's a new video coming out. So I won't talk about that. And no, we took a group picture near the end of who was there. I have a bunch of good pictures that I got. Didn't get much video because I don't know. I can't sit still a lot. So I mean, I played games here and there, and like I was saying to a few of the people there that I got in the car, I didn't really want to play the games too much because when I eventually get my own console, I want to like have everything be fresh and play, really play it then. Right now, I just wanted to get a feel for the controller, see some games, see other people play. I thought I played enough. I didn't play a lot, but I played enough. And when I'm in the crowd like that, and there's conversations going on, I'm meeting people for the first time. I can't really concentrate on playing. I mean, I played Astro Smash probably for the longest time. Me and another guy got through like the first three levels. It was cool. Then he showed us a level that's never been seen before. I think it was level 9. And I didn't play that one, but I watched other people play that, and it was just crazy things coming down like crazy. So I saw the video on Tommy playing Moon Patrol. I don't think we played that at this one, at the one I was at. But I mean, I played that little mini one when Tommy had that on the phone. But like I said, I don't really like playing games on my phone. So yeah, I mean, and then oh yeah, at some point, like maybe an hour in, I guess they were at the other event in Wallem, and they really didn't get a chance to get something to eat, so they wanted to order some pizza, and again I went out for a cigarette break, and then DJ and Panda and Saggy went next door to a place called Harry's Pizza, and they ordered a bunch of pizzas. So then we went back in and we had some pizza, played more games, lots of conversations. We were talking about horror movies, Halloween 3. Me and Atari Creep got into a pretty good conversation about Halloween 3, how we really like it. And then his girlfriend, I got a chance to talk to. I guess she's Italian, and she's telling me about her grandma and all this. And then I'm like, oh, you must cook good Italian food for Chris. And he's like, no, I do the cooking. She's the Italian, but I'm the one who cooks the Italian. So it was just funny. I mean, we had another conversation with, I forget the guy's name, nice guy. I think he had a couple kids with him, but he was into the pre-nest stuff like me and Chris. So we were talking about our best finds in the wild, like the best thing we ever came across. So I told them my story. They told me theirs, and it was so much conversation going on, and that's the funnest thing I had out of it, is just meeting them, conversating, eating pizza with them, and it was just the commodity of it, just getting together. And then, by the way, that event, that second one, the later one in Uxbridge, the one I was at, the one I'm speaking of, that one was supposed to be till 8 o'clock, but of course we were there until about 11:30, because the tournament guys for the card game came back to play or another round, or it was another group of people, and they told us that because of our event, theirs got delayed a little bit, so they were fine with it, but they were there late, so it worked out. So they were in no hurry to kick us out. So we were there till about 11:30, maybe almost 12. Some of the people that were there left with the kids and stuff, but Rab's daughter, oh my God, 5-year-old, cute. Oh my God, she was adorable. She was a champ. I mean, she reminded me of my granddaughter. So me and Rab had a conversation, and it was great. I mean, I got to meet Rab, Panda, Saggy, Tommy, DJC, Chris the Atari Creep, his family, his kids, his girlfriend's kids. It was just a great, great experience, and I'm glad I went, and I'm glad it was close enough for me to drive. I felt bad for some people because I think Panda had a pretty long drive, and I think, Chris didn't have too far of a drive, but maybe an hour and a half. Same with Saggy. DJC, had to fly back to Detroit the next day. Tommy was staying in Springfield for, I think, and he was flying back to California the next day. So, so by that time, it was midnight. So, but I mean, so I don't really have a review. I don't have an overall review. I just wanted to do an overall overview of what I experienced quickly. Not getting in, I didn't get into much detail. The only other thing I'd want to say is that Tommy did have one of the boxes with him, the physical box of I believe it was Missile Command, and he handed it to me just so I could check it out because I don't have any yet. But I guess he had one with him to show people. And okay, so I mean, I put my hands on that, took the coin out, took the card out. The box is nowhere near as flimsy and as some YouTubers have said. I mean, it's sturdy. I mean, it's there's nothing wrong with it. It's not gonna. I don't see it disintegrating or getting damaged from picking it up off the shelf a bunch of times. And, so I had no problem with the box. It was fine. It wasn't like a flimsy thing that's gonna disintegrate after 2 weeks or whatever people were saying after 2 months. Nah, the box was fine. Yeah, they're small, but the coin was nice. The card was nice. And then I was telling Tommy about, and I went over that with Tommy about the tapping and when you would have to tap it when you're offline. And, I was telling him how you could just keep the cards near the system somewhere if you're offline. You don't have to keep putting them in and out of the box. I mean, just keep them on the side or something. And he agreed, and he was like, yeah, just do this. So anyway, that's about it as far as my experience. I may have missed a few things. Oh, and I gave Tommy a book on bocce because he plans to eventually make a bocce game, that would work with the controller like the cornhole. And he thinks, he plans on doing. He said, what kind of talent would I be if I don't do a bocce game? So, yeah, so I mean, we had conversations about our best video game finds, and we just talked about Atari, about early in television, who grew up with what. I grew up with the Odyssey 2. They all know that. And then, I don't know. And then I got to take home this, Tommy gave me one of these. It spins. So that's cool. And then this poster. So I got to take home this poster. And you know what? Like I said before, when you're in the moment, afterwards I thought I could have had Tommy sign this for me. But didn't think of it. And he was carrying all that stuff, so when he gave me that. And then I guess I'll end it off like this. I'm not going to give a review on anything. All I'm going to say is my overall overview is the controller's great, and it was what I expected. The games are what I expected. Like the major thing for me was about the shooting, using the screen for the shooting or the top button. For me, between Astro Smash and Flying Tigers, I enjoyed Flying Tigers better because of the screen being the fire button. It just felt more natural than the top. But I mean, Astro Smash was fine. It was very fun. I mean, just those rocks coming down and splitting them and the UFOs and a lot of action going on in that game. Flying Tigers was excellent because when it's like 1942, but you get the clouds coming by, so you feel like the clouds are above you, under you, and and the landscape on the bottom was was cool. Not too realistic, but like that cartoon look. I enjoyed. That was my favorite one because Tommy asked everybody what was your favorite, favorite game you experienced, and that's the one I said was Flying Tigers. And then I'm a little biased because I like shooters, especially you know. So I guess I'll end this video, and I'll end it on Atari Creep coming out today about the anxiety, depression, and how the amico may have saved his life, and how last night turned it around for him. I knew nothing about that, by the way. I do know about anxiety because I've experienced it myself. It's not fun. I had a few panic attacks, and I know how that could be. And depression is even worse. I haven't really experienced that, but I do have a cousin that has, and I do have a brother-in-law that right now is going through a very bad depression. And I was talking to Atari Creep, and I was telling him about my wife's, my father-in-law passed away 2 years ago from Alzheimer's, and how my wife lost her mother and her father within a few years. And I guess same happened with him. So that's one of the things we spoke about. But I didn't know, I know I mentioned in one of my videos before about how we should all be good to each other because we don't know what the other person's going through, even if they're not showing it. So in other words, a lot of people come off like Chris is a bad guy because he says things that a lot of people maybe won't say, or he'll call someone a name, but you got to remember, at our age, we grew up in a less sensitive society. So I know you got to be more careful these days what you say, but sometimes that's the way we were, upbrung, and not upbrung so much, but that's what we lived through, and that's how it was. So sometimes that doesn't mean that he's not going through anything. So when you watch one of his videos and someone out there might think he swears too much, or some of the things, some of the names he'll call someone, he doesn't mean to probably come off that way. And I'm not speaking for him. This is my opinion. You got to remember when someone's going through something, they try to cover it up. Instead of coming out and being honest like he did today in that video about suicide, and a lot of people that are going through anxiety and depression and suicidal thoughts, they try to mask it by being this aggressive person. You know what I mean? And it's all it is. It doesn't mean they're not going through something. So you can't think someone